information.
What's your greatest fear about the downside or the damage done by marijuana itself, the health risks of marijuana?
Well, I guess it's something we honestly don't know, and that's one of the points that would be both of the drug will perform as a medicine, but then as well that it will be safe. And I think you highlighted some of those concerns that, when you smoke it, there are other excipients or other chemicals that are being ingested at that time, and we really don't know the true harm to these preparations.
What does it mean then if organizations like Hilary Black do begin to spread? And in fact, she's right, they do start cropping up all over Canada. What is your great concern there, and how can they be stopped?
Well, I guess what we would like to see is that the work that is being done be done to scientific standards so that we can actually use that data and make some value judgments as to whether these preparations are safe and effective.
But what does that mean? I mean, to get marijuana legalized as a medicinal substance, what is required?
We have clear evidence. The law will allow us to make preparations available, like the Sesamet and Marinol, provided that we have that scientific evidence to show that it works.
This means years of testing, controlled substances, control groups?
Having control groups. I mean, if we're testing for pain, that there would be a control group with another pain preparation that they can make make a comparison to those products.
Has any group ever tried to get marijuana legalized medicinally this way?
Not so far, no.
Hilary Black, have you ever tried to get marijuana legally accepted as a medicinal substance?
I believe that's what I'm doing right now.
But in controlled tests or bringing studies before medical authorities?
Absolutely. We need government funding to do proper studies. I'm trying to run what I'm doing as absolutely officially and up to scientific standards as I possibly can without my own means. I'm doing what I am doing with no funding at all.
Mr. Rowsell, a final comment?
Well, I guess, what we're looking for is the evidence to substantiate that. It's unclear whether there have been any deaths due to marijuana. People have died, from cigarettes. Part of that may have been contributed by marijuana as well. We're uncertain.
Okay, I'd like to thank you both. This is clearly a long debate and now taking some new directions. Thank you both very much.
Thank you very much.
Hi, welcome to another edition of High Society, and I am with my friend Craig here. He's a scientist at UBC. What are we doing today, Craig?
I believe, David, we are measuring the background radiation or radiation associated with your samples.
Right. and we're testing fertilizers here to see which one of them emits the most radiation. We have 4 different samples today.
And I've never taken the shield off that, so you've got me nervous.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's what they recommended we do. So we're going to take it over to our 4 samples here. Now, the first sample
Let me get some gloves.
In the bio yogurt container. This is some high quality, high phosphate organic bird poo from seafaring birds. It's hard to find, very difficult to find in Canada, but apparently it's the goo. I use it myself.
Can I open it up?
Yes, please. And it's not good.
Stand back.
You don't want to breathe it in. You don't want to breathe it in. It's bird poo. But why are you doing that?
Just to get it wet.
Oh yeah.
In chemistry, one of the first things they tell you is never stick your nose into the sample. Right. You bring the sample to your nose, and Yes, I get a faint reminiscence of what you warned me of.
Yes. Yeah, it is bird poop. But
What is, I don't want to stick that in there, so I'm going to go get a little plastic boat and put a little sample on it and see what it does.
Okay.
Okay, one second.
We're also here with Dr. Paul. Dr. Paul, you work with the Compassion Club?
Yeah, I have done in the past. Yeah, we have a collaboration.
And you kind of dabble in the cannabinoid arts?
I'm more than dabbling. I'm extremely interested in cannabinoids.
Yeah. It's the frontier of medicine here, and I guess what we're doing today is investigating as to whether we can have a safer substance by fertilizing with organics versus chemicals. Do you think you did this once before, didn't you?
The radiation test? Yeah, we did. We found 3 times background in a chemical fertilizer as opposed to an organic fertilizer, meaning the chemical fertilizer was producing 3 times more radioactivity than the organic fertilizer.
Wow.
Preliminary test, so.
This is kind of another verification of that. I guess the implications are that we could reduce or eliminate lung cancers from smoking tobacco and cannabis if we find the right fertilizers for them.
Well, in my mind, radiation is the biggest carcinogen of them all. It was more damaging than any other type of carcinogen, so it definitely would be implicated in cancer. Gee, this takes me back 10 years to when I used to work for cancer research.
Yeah, well, I'm interested in this. I'm just a layperson, but it stands to reason.
Good idea, David.
I did write an article about it, but no, I think this is other people's ideas. Like Jack Harrar wrote about this in Emperor Wears No Clothes back in '85, and it was Chris Clay who sent me this 1996 radioactive technology article that really was like, wow, that's 54 scientific citations, 26 of them which mention carcinogens, radioactivity, and tobacco in them, so I thought there's maybe something to this. And I guess seeing is believing now. If we can get this to show.
That's good radiation.
What?
We love radiation.
What are you doing right now?
We're drawing down a DNA sequencing gel in order to determine what the genetic structure of chloroplasts and lobular I think so. And we use the radiation to visualize our DNA in order to be able to see it on our autoradiograms. And it's incredibly useful.
What do you use that for?
You mean this particular experiment?
Yeah.
Oh, we're developing DNA tracking systems to monitor gene flow in reforestation seedlots. And so the radiation is just a tool that we use to see things.
To check tree families for growth or something?
Check their different genetic identities to be able to say who's the brother of who's the sister of who's the aunt of who, the uncle of who. All these relationships are needed in breeding programs in order to reduce inbreeding. Nobody likes inbreeding.